Fine, good afternoon to you all students. Hi students, how are you? I hope you all are fine and you all are doing well. I hope by God's grace you all are safe. Warm greetings to you all students. Welcome to our today's online class students. So now we are studying about which chapter? So chapter 1 completed. So from last two class onwards I am going to take over chapter? Chapter 3. Isn't it? I am taking class about chapter 3. So what's the title of your chapter students? So what's the title of your chapter? Computer Organization. Isn't it? So before I am going to start about the today's class, just recall what are the things you have studied in the previous classes in this chapter. Okay. So in this chapter, what are the things you are studying? So you have studied about microprocessor. What do you mean by microprocessor? So one important 5-mark question I said to study, isn't it? So what's the important 5-mark question? Characteristics of microprocessor. Isn't it? So very important 5-mark question, characteristics of microprocessor. So what are the characteristics of microprocessor? Clock speed, instruction set and word size. So there's a chance for asking this 5-mark question as a 3-mark question as separate headings. For example, they will ask define clock speed, then define instruction, 2-mark question, define instruction set, define word size. Okay, then another one important question you have studied, program counter. So till this I have taught till yesterday, isn't it? Okay, so today I am going to take class about, so once more I am taking the class about program counter. Okay, so what do you mean by program counter? Very important 2-mark question. Okay, so this are all expected questions. See, so program counter is a one special kind of register. So inside the CPU, which is the important or major component, microprocessor, isn't it? So inside the microprocessor, one important component is a program counter. Okay. So we can say this program counter is a one special kind of register. Okay. So see this diagram. So in this diagram inside the CPU, which is there program counter. Have you seen in that block diagram? This diagram is not in your textbook. For our understanding purpose only, I have shown this diagram. Have you seen? So this is the CPU diagram. See, inside the CPU, you have seen a small common called what? Program counter. See, in that program counter, have you seen a down one address is there? 0101110. Have you seen it? Yeah. So that's the address. So right side you see lot of addresses are there. Location 0, location 1. So in the memory, all the data are stored in each memory address. For example, memory cells only, all the data will be stored. Okay, so for example, location 0, one data is stored. For example, you are giving A equal to 5, B equal to 10, C equal to 15. How many variables you are giving? A, B and C. Value of A you are giving as a 5, B you are giving as a 10, C you are giving as a 15. So see, in memory, how these 3 variables will accommodate or how these 3 variables will store. Okay, so see, first location 0, so for A equal to 5. The location 0, what it will store? A equal to 5. Then location 1. So A equal to 5 it is storing, no? For that one memory address is there. See that diagram, 10100 is indeed. So that's one memory address. So B equal to 5. Then second memory address. Then C equal to 50. That's the location to third memory address. Likewise, each and every variables, not only variables, whatever data it may be, each and everything will have some memory address. So what's the use of this program counter mean? So it is one of a special kind of register. Always it will keep the address of the next instruction. See, one address they have given in program counter 0110. So first it will fetch the address of the current location. See the arrow mark. See the arrow mark. What's the address there they have given? 0100. So that address, along with that, it will store the address of the next. What's the next address? So next column address also it will store. Understood what size of program counter? It's a special kind of register. Always it will store the address of the next instruction to be executed. Understood? Okay. So next important, that's the important definition, define program counter. Okay, then next important definition, 2 mark question is define bus. Okay, bus means don't think it's a normal or transport bus. Okay, so what's the definition of bus mean? It's a collection of wires. What do you mean by bus? It's a collection of wires. Okay, so what's the use of wire? For example, a fan, light, lot of electronic or electrical things are there in your home, isn't it? So what's the use of wire? So it is used to connect the particular electronic things to the switch. Isn't, when you on the switch means through the wire current will pass and the particular device will work, isn't it? Same way, so in the inside the CPU, that means in computer also, inside lot of devices is there, isn't it? So in that device needs to work properly means that device needs to connect using what? Wires. Okay, a single wire means we can say that is a wire. So a collection of wire we can say is called what? Bus. Understood what I mean by bus? Bus is a collection of wires. So what's the use of bus? Mainly used for communication between internal components of a computer. So inside the computer, what are the internal components are there? So it is mainly used to communicate with what? Internal components of a computer. Understood? See this picture. So this and all examples for bus. So first picture also a bus. Okay. So that is some cables. See that width of that cable. So each and every cables have a separate task or separate work. First cable is maybe used to connect for printer or inside the CPU to or something. Okay, see that big diagram I have shown, no, motherboard. That is a motherboard of your computer. So from the motherboard only, through the motherboard only you are connecting what are the devices connected to the computer. See the motherboard, have you seen that white cables I have seen? Yes, that is a bus. So each and every cables have separate connections between CPU and the memory or between CPU to the keyboard or projector or many things or internet cables, etc, etc. Understood what I mean by bus? Bus is a collection of wire. What's the use? Mainly is to communicate the internal components of a computer. So this picture and all no need to draw. This picture is also not, they have given in your textbook. For our understanding only I have shown. Understood? Okay. So next one is see. So we have studied about RAM, isn't it? So what's the word size in the RAM? That is same as the memory data register. So yesterday we have studied CPU has two types of register. What are they? Memory data register and memory address register, MDR and MAR. Okay. So what's the important thing mean? So what's the word capacity of RAM? Maybe it's a 8 bits or 4 bits. If the word capacity of a RAM is a 8 bits mean same capacity will have for which one? MDR. If RAM has 16 bits means MDR also 16 bit. RAM has 8 bits means MDR also has 8 bits. Understood? Okay. So processor, microprocessor you have studied, isn't it? So for that one example they have given, if a processor is a 8-bit processor. Understood? If a processor is a 8-bit processor, that is Intel 8085, that's the example of the processor name or the name of the processor. Okay. So 8-bit means, so the MDR and the RAM capacity is also how many bits? Word size is same 8 bits. Okay. Next. So what's the use of read operation? Read operation is mainly used to transfer the data from word to MDR, memory data register. This is an important 1 mark question. So what's the use of read operation? So read operation will always transfer the information or data or bits from where to where? Word to memory data, that is MDR. Okay. Write operation is just opposite. So already have read that information to MDR. Now all the information is stored in where? MDR. Now you are going to write the information already stored in the MDR from that MDR to Word. So write operation, what's the use of write operation? It will transfer the data or bits from MDR to the Word. Understood what are things you have studied in this slide? So the word size of the RAM is same as the MDR. If the word size of the microprocessor Intel is 8 bit means the RAM word size and the MDR word size is 8 bits. Okay. So what's the use of read operation? Read operation always transfer the data and information from word to MDR. Write operation is just opposite. Already have written to MDR. So from MDR it is copied to which one? Word. Understood? Okay. Next we are going to study about types of microprocessor. Okay. So this microprocessors are classified based on two things. Important 2-mark question. Okay, so microprocessor can be classified based on how many criteria or how many things? Two things. What are they? First one is based on the width. What do you mean by width? Mean how much capacity or how much data particular microprocessor can be processed. That is called width. Okay, so the microprocessor can be classified based on which one? First one is based on width of the data. That means how much capacity of the how many capacity of data particular microprocessor can process. Okay, but first based on width of data. So second based on instruction set. Understood? First based on what? Width of data can be processed. Second based on what? Instruction set. Understood? Important 2-mark question. So microprocessor can be classified based on how many, which criteria? Two criteria. What are they? First one is based on width of the data that can be processed. Second one is based on instruction set. Okay. So next we are going to study the each of these two things in detail. So what's the first thing? Classification of microprocessor based on data width. Okay. So what do you mean by data width? So already you have studied that instruction set, isn't it? So for microprocessor can be processed how many instructions per second or how many instructions at a time. So that we can call as a what? Data width. Okay, so all the things you are giving us a instructions or command. So how many instructions or how many commands can be that microprocessor can process at a time. So that we can call as a what? Data width. So based on that, the microprocessor can be classified into 4 types. Okay, so based on the data bit, the microprocessor can be classified into how many types? 4 types. Okay, what are they means? 8-bit microprocessor, 16-bit microprocessor, 32-bit and 62-bit microprocessor. So what's the first width or the capacity of microprocessor? First one, 8-bit. 16-bit microprocessor have a capacity of 16-bit. 64-bit microprocessor has a capacity of 64-bit. Understood? So, microprocessors classified based on two things. What are they? Based on the width they processed. Next one is instruction set. So, based on the data weight, there are how many types are there? 4 types. What are they? 8-bit microprocessor, 16-bit microprocessor, 32-bit microprocessor and 64-bit microprocessor. Understood? Okay. Then what's the second thing? So, second thing is, so that also important 2-mark question. Okay. Classification based on that width. So, microprocessor is classified based on what are the criteria. That is 1 2-mark question. Then depending on the data width, what are the classifications of microprocessor? That is important 2-mark question. Then next important 2-mark question is classification of microprocessor based on instruction set. Okay, so listen. So what do you mean by instruction set? Collection of instructions processed by a microprocessor is called what? Instruction set, isn't it? So how many types of instruction sets are available in this microprocessor? I mean, 2 types. So what are they means? Reduced instruction set computers and complex instruction set computers. So what are the 2 types of instruction sets? Reduced instruction set computers and complex instruction set computers. So reduced instruction set we can call as a short form RISC, RISC. So complex instruction set you can call as in a short form CASC. Understood? Okay. So if they ask for 2-mark question means either with examples you need to write. Okay. So what are the examples of RISC microprocessor means here down? Pentium 4, Intel P6, AMD K6 and K7. These are the examples of RISC, that is reduced instruction set processors. Okay. Then some examples they have given for complex instruction set computers. So what are the examples for complex instruction set means? Intel 386, 486. Just read it and study. Okay. So for this 2-mark question you need to write what are the 2 types of microprocessor based on instruction set. What are they? Reduced instruction set, that is RISC. Then complex instruction CASC. What are the examples for RISC? Pentium 4, Intel 6, AMD and K7. Then what are the examples for CASC? Intel 386, 486, Pentium and that and that. Understood? So next one is a memory device. Okay. So what's the use of memory? So human also memory is there. Human has memory, isn't it? So which part is the human memory? Brain is the human memory, isn't it? So what's the use of brain? Brain will store all the informations. What are maybe you are studying, what are you are seeing, what are the things you are hearing, whatever maybe. All the things it is stored in the brain, isn't it? Through nerve. So same way, computer also memory is there. Okay, so in computer memory we can say as a storage space. So in mobile also, if you have seen, means two types of memory you might have seen, isn't it? Primary memory as well as that is phone storage as well as external storage, that is memory card or SD card storage, isn't it? So memory means what we can say as a storage space. Computer or mobile phone or chats, whatever maybe we can say that memory means it's a storage space. So in that storage space only you are going to store maybe a photos, videos, animated GIFs, whatever maybe, documents, etc. So what's is a storage space? Mainly used to store data and instruction. Same way computer memory is also used to store what? Data and instructions. Okay, so already you have stored lot of things in the memory. So now you are going to access. What do you mean by access? Taking. So now you are going to taking that things you have stored. So same way only in the memory of a computer also you are going to take what are the data you have stored. So for that two types of access methods are there. How many types of access methods are there? Two types. What are they? Read or write. Okay, what are they? Read or write. For this best example I am telling. So you might have heard about rewritable CD and normal CD. So what's the difference between rewritable CD and normal CD? Rewritable CD means, so once you have written some data means nothing but, for example, you are copying one movie in that CD, okay, in the rewritable CD. So after seeing that movie, so you are, as per your wish, you are deleting that video file or movie file. Next time you are storing another one file, that is rewritable. So once you can store, and as per your wish you can delete and store again. But normal, that's a normal CD means you once you have written means, not a rewritable CD means once you have written means you cannot able to delete that file. Whatever you have written in the CD, that it will be there. You cannot able to rewrite it. Okay, that's the difference between normal CD and rewritable CD. Same way computer memory also two types is there, read or write. Okay, so in that two types of access, what are they mean? Sequential access and random access. Okay, so sequential means immediately you need to remember order. Okay, for example, roll number is there 1 2 3 4 5, that's an order, sequential. So sequential access mean what are the data you are stored in the memory, it will access as a order from starting to end. For example, you are storing the numbers from 1 to 100, for example I am telling. So sequential access, how it will access mean, first it will access the first memory 1, then 2 3 4 5 till 100, at the starting to end 100. Okay, but random access mean it will not access in a that is a sequential ordered manner. It will access anything. For example, first it will access 1, then it will access the fourth thing, then 5, then 10. Maybe here and there it's not an order, but it will access as a not a sequential order, it's a random manner. Understood? Understood? Okay, so what are things you have studied today? So just to recall what are things you have studied. You have studied about definition of program counter. Very, very important question. So this what are things I am telling. Please note it down in your notebook. Program counter, important 2-mark question. Then define bus, important 2-mark question. Then types of microprocessor. It is classified based on two types, isn't it? Based on what? Bit data width and the instruction set. Important 2-mark. Then based on data width, there 4 types are there. That is important 2-mark question. Then based on instruction set, that is important 2-mark question. Understood? Please note it down all the things in your notebook. So after completion of this session, please study all the questions. Okay, take care. Students remaining, I'll continue then next week class. Thank you, students.